Good morning on this Friday morning, the last Friday of April. Dag Hammarskjold said, "Thou takest the pen and the lines dance. Thou takest the flute and the notes shimmer. Thou takest the brush and the colours sing. So all things have meaning and beauty in that space beyond time where thou art. How then can I hold back anything from thee?" Good morning. I'm just going to turn around so you can see and hear the beauty of all that is going on behind me. Dag Hammarskjold had a deep spiritual awareness, and one of the things I've been thinking about in the last few days is not only people who have been finding this time challenging, but also people who are beginning to get a little bit defiant and say, we need to fight this. And one of the great psalms of defiance is Psalm 124. It's been a psalm which people have read and sang and shouted for thousands of years. It's the psalm that John Knox and his followers used to sing defiantly at the bottom of the palace when Mary, Queen of Scots, was trying to get some sleep, and they sang it so that either she wouldn't sleep or that she might have bad dreams. They sang it to defend their right. So let me read Psalm 124. "If it had not been for the Lord who was on our side, let Israel now say. If it had not been the Lord who was on our side when our enemies attacked, then he would have swallowed us up alive. When their anger was kindled against us, then the flood would have swept us away, the torrent would have gone over us, then over us would have gone the raging waters. Blessed be the Lord who has not given us as prey to their teeth. We have escaped like a bird from the snare of the fowlers. The snare is broken, and we have escaped. Our help is in the name of the Lord who made heaven and earth." Sometimes when we're feeling a little sad and a little broken, we need to be a little bit more defiant and find ways to give ourselves hope in the face of such sadness and difficulty. Dag Hammarskjold, that I first quoted this morning, was the youngest and some say the most brilliant General Secretary of the United Nations. He worked for Sweden's central bank in the 30s. He was a successful public servant, working eventually at governmental level before he was called to be the Secretary General. He was earmarked as a safe pair of hands and was well respected. But what marks Dag Hammarskjold out for Christians is that he had a deep spiritual awareness of his role and his place in the universe. He wrote haiku poetry. One of his haikus is, "In our age, the road to holiness necessary passes through the world of action." He was a man who negotiated peace between warring groups. He pointed to the possibility of a better world, a world where if we worked for and we hoped in and we had faith in our fellow men and women, we could create a better world. He said, "No life was more satisfactory than one of selfless service to your country or humanity. This service required a sacrifice of all personal interests, but likewise the courage to stand up for your convictions. I inherited a belief in the very radical sense of the Gospels. all men were equals and should be met and treated as our masters in God. Now that's a very interesting thought for today, particularly when some are not as equal as others. Let me finish with a blessing, and I will see you again, hopefully this Sunday, and if not, then I'll see you next week, Monday to Friday at 10 o'clock. Stay safe, stay strong. The risen Christ came and stood among his disciples and said, "Peace be with you. May peace surround you and fill you this day in your action, in your reflecting, and in your being." Amen.